All right. I think optimization is terrible if you're not enjoying what it is that you're doing, which sounds so simple, but just bear with me on this. So I have this t-shirt brand. I really like it. It's really cool. It's called Starry-eyed. I'm wearing it right now. This is sick as hell. I drew it. It says, "Meet me here. I'll tell you all about it." Super clean, super kind of sweet. Starryeyed.ca if you're curious. Anyways, I've had people come to me because they like what I'm doing. I'm flattered. And they say, if you just did this, if you just did that, brother, if you did this, then you could double that. Your margins are this. I'm so well aware that I'm not running my business to its fullest potential. I'm not saying that from a place of laziness. I'm saying that from a place of I'd rather enjoy it than optimize it. You get what I'm saying? Because I think the life expectancy of something you're doing is much longer if you're enjoying what you're doing rather than if you're optimizing. One could say, but if you were making more money, maybe you'd be enjoying making more money and that would lengthen the lifespan of it. I just don't think so. I just don't think so. Because sure, if you're enjoying making money, that's fine. That's great. But isn't that like a tiny little bit out of your control? You know what I mean? If you run an ad campaign, that doesn't guarantee sales. You know, if you start a YouTube channel, that doesn't guarantee anything. But if you're enjoying yourself, you guarantee a positive outcome, which is enjoyment, which is fulfillment, which is this is so cool. You get what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. Again, like I said, I don't really know how to run a business. I wasted like $800-900 making shipping mistakes. Brutal. And it wasn't even something that was completely avoidable. But now it's a cool and funny story, you know, because I don't know. Everyone talks about Michael Jordan not making his basketball team and now he's the GOAT, right? Or maybe he's not. Maybe it's LeBron. I know as much about sports as I do about business, which is very little to none. But what I will say is everyone tells that story because Michael Jordan earlier on failed, right? So I burned through $800-900. Is what it is. Now I get to talk about it. Kind of lit. I don't even know if I'd be happier with $800 or with the story of wasting $800. You know what I mean? Same thing as like when I was trying to figure out the hoodies and get the first like perfect kind of like cut and get the first run of them going, ones I liked. I did it in the worst possible way. Truly, like I bought a type of hoodie and tried a bunch of colors, got it, and I hated the hoodie structurally, the sizing, the material, the this, the that, and the other. So I wasted about $1,200 before I got to the hoodies I wanted. Now, with these two simple mistakes, I'd be up about 2 grand right now. But I think the value of having realized that I still enjoyed myself while making these mistakes and absolutely lighting 2 racks on fire actually helped me later on because it showed me that even though I can make a $2,000 idiotic, just two piece of mistakes, I'm still going to keep doing this thing. And I was talking to my friend about it because he was like, you know what I like about your brand is I can just tell that you'd be doing it anyways, whether you got sales or not. Because the biggest thing about sales, like I said before, is it's pretty much out of your control. There's so many designs I put out there. I'm like, this is going to kill it. This is my Bentley. I'm going to put this out. I'm going to put it on a t-shirt and someone's going to see, Harry Styles wearing it or something crazy. And it just flops, bro. Like it flops like a wet leaf, like nothing, like no one cares. And that's like something that you can't see coming for better or worse. You know what I mean? Everyone says like plan for the worst, whatever. And when I say nobody cares, I mean outside of myself because I care. I order everything I make because I think it's sick as hell, right? So on the other end of that, sometimes I just throw something out there, get a little idea. I'm like, wouldn't this be kind of cool? Toss it out there, like whatever. And then it's like sale, 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 sale. And I don't get it. And that's the same thing with music. That's probably the same thing with books. That's probably the same thing with 1,000 different things. Cookie recipes. I don't know. If you're just enjoying what you're doing, the score takes care of itself, and you can never predict the outcomes. So you just got to enjoy what you're doing. If I was optimizing, if I made a design, because I was pandering to an audience, a design that I would never wear, and I was doing Facebook ads, content, and all this stuff, which I don't like, I'm not going to get into the whole attention span economy, but it's just like, I don't like it. So I don't want to do it. And if I did a bunch of stuff I don't want to do because I'm optimizing and I got 4 or 5 more sales, is that worth the headache? Is that worth the headache of doing something you don't want to do with something you want to enjoy? You know what I mean? I just kind of feels like forcing a relationship. It's like staying together for the kids. Just feels, you get why you're doing it, grand scheme. You'd rather be doing something else. It'd be a lot more fulfilling doing something else. You know what I mean? And that could either be just being divorced on. You know what? That's a whole other thing. I'm nowhere near being able to get relationship advice. But my point is, I feel flattered that a lot of people come to me being like, you should do this because your brand is this big and it could be this big. But I just think, like, first of all, I'm not running Apple. You know what I mean? I'm not running Apple. I'm not running Microsoft. I'm not running Tesla. If people are like, you could probably be doing this better, probably. I agree. Like, I could definitely be doing this better. But I'm going to get to that better by myself. And I might burn through 2K. And someone might see me burn through 2K and be like, oh, I could have saved that 2K. Maybe not. Maybe these people that think that they can run your business better than you would cost you more money in the long run. And it doesn't have to be about money. But I'm just talking about a business right now. So we're just using a clear example. What am I at? 6 minutes? Holy. Anyways, point is people from the sidelines always think they could have made that shot, and that's not to discredit them or to view people with a negative view, but I think a healthy degree of not convincing yourself that when someone says they would have avoided the mistake you made, I don't know. You're in the driver's seat. It's different when you're in the passenger seat. You can pay attention to different things because you're not driving the car. You know what I mean? You don't have your foot on the gas. You're not thinking about these things. Bug lands on your shoulder in the passenger seat, you can wild out. Won't really affect the steering wheel. So many metaphors. I'm just gonna shut up with those. But main point I'm trying to make is I just don't think if optimizing sacrifices enjoyment, there's just no point. You're gonna hate what you're doing. You're gonna tarnish it, you're gonna stain it. And then no matter how much money, no matter how many views, no matter what you get out of it, I don't think it'll be worth it because you'll hate it because it won't even be like fruits of your labor. It'll just be like when you see the person at the party and they're supposed to be enjoying themselves, or like when people say I don't know, being rich doesn't solve everything because they're still crying in their Lambo kind of thing. Obviously everyone's like, I'd rather cry in a Lambo. Doesn't really matter, bro, whether you're on a leather seat or a wooden chair. If you're crying, you're sad. It sucks. I just think you gotta like what you're doing. And optimizing is the recipe for ruin. Ultimately. I think that's it. Oh yeah, starryeyed.ca for the t-shirts.